Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There are some people, when they hear the call for the Khilafah, they shoot it down with comments like, the Khilafah existed in the past and there were problems. The Khilafah in the past didn't stop the Mongols from ransacking Baghdad and the Crusaders from occupying Al-Quds. And recently, a well-known scholar said the same thing and concluded that we should rather focus on ourselves. So is there any merit to this point? Let's take a look. The Khilafah in the past didn't bring an end to problems. It didn't create an idyllic society, and it is not a panacea for all problems. And this is obvious. The best period of the Khilafah was during the Khilafah Rashida. And during the time of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh, he had an existential problem. When he became the Khalifa, some people wanted to attack Medina and destroy it. At the time of Uthman bin Affan radiallahu anh, he was under house arrest for almost two weeks and was killed. At the time of Ali radiallahu anh, there was civil war during the time of his rule. None of the Sahaba at that time said, maybe we should focus on the individuals and forget the Khilafah. So those people today who claim that the Khilafah should only come after everybody has perfected themselves, do they also oppose the Khilafah of Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali radiallahu anhum because there were problems at that time? Had they neglected the individuals and rushed to establish the Khilafah? Or did they view the Khilafah differently to the way those people today who say we shouldn't focus on it? So why the big disconnect in the way the Sahaba radiallahu anhum viewed the Khilafah and some today who say we should focus on the individual? This is because the Sahaba radiallahu anhum didn't view the Khilafah as a panacea or a cherry on top after everything else had been perfected. Rather, they viewed the Khilafah as an obligation to rule by whatever Allah had revealed. The Khilafah was a means to enjoin the good and to forbid the evil. And it's true there were problems in the past, and it's likely that there will be problems in the future. But the point to remember is this: when you fulfill an obligation and it does not achieve the desired results, it doesn't take away the fact that that act is an obligation. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders us to pray so that it may protect us from fahisha, from immorality. Yet we know there are many people who pray and do commit acts of immorality. So should they neglect the prayer? Should they abandon the prayer? Should they ignore the prayer until they have perfected themselves and only after that go and pray? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered fasting so that we may become muttaqi, that we may become God conscious. Yet we know there are some people who fast, yet they don't achieve taqwa. They don't behave like good Muslims. So should they not fast? Should they neglect the fast until they become perfect and then fast? So even if the act of praying and fasting doesn't achieve the desired objective, it still remains an obligation. So even if you have the Khilafah and there are problems, it doesn't take away the fact that the Khilafah is an obligation. And this is the point that we need to keep in mind. So why the inconsistency when this issue is clear? The Khilafah is an obligation and it needs to be adhered to, it needs to be implemented. It is because the Sahaba radiallahu anhum viewed ruling by Islam as an obligation amongst other obligations. But those who view Islam through a secular lens today view personal obligations as part of religion and collective obligations as part of politics. The Khilafah isn't the final piece of a jigsaw after we have perfected all other matters. The Khilafah is an obligation that allows us to fulfill other obligations. By establishing the Khilafah, it is the beginning of fixing our society. It is the means to begin to fix our problems. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد والحمد لله رب العالمين.